Welcome to the X Factor presented by Xfinity alongside the Pro Bowler TJ Lang. I'm Dannie Rogers. We are in Week 12, Thanksgiving Day edition. TJ, you played in a few Thanksgiving Days in Detroit. How much fun were they?
A lot of fun. The Thanksgiving Day game is just unique. It's a tradition growing up in Detroit. It's nostalgic, sitting around the Thanksgiving Day table watching football with the family, and then getting to play in a couple of them. When I was in Green Bay, we came here 3 times, and obviously the 2 I got to play when I was with the Lions. So it's always fun. It's unique. It's a primetime game, but at 12:30 on a Thursday, so it's a bit different. But the energy in the building is usually pretty good. I think a lot of fans like being there, throw out the records, whatever. Just getting to watch football on Thanksgiving is just a great tradition, especially here in Detroit.
The Chicago Bears are coming to town, and we know which X Factor they are for sure without a couple of them. Quarterback Justin Fields is sidelined with a rib injury, and then Khalil Mack is out for the season with foot surgery. So who is your Bears X Factor?
Oh, it's tough to pick this week. I mean, Allen Robinson didn't play last week. Akeem Hicks didn't play. Eddie Goldman didn't play. It's going to be interesting to see what their lineup looks like. But a guy that they just got back recently, David Montgomery. I think we all have very not fond memories of the first time we played against Chicago in Chicago. He's a workhorse. He's a lot like what we just saw in Pittsburgh with Najee Harris. Even in Cleveland, a little bit of Nick Chubb with just the way that he runs, the style of runner he is, the power that he has in his legs and pushing the piles, and really didn't have a lot of explosive runs last week against Baltimore. This is probably his best one, just a simple handoff inside, runs through a couple tackles. What should be probably a 3 or 4 yard gain turns into a 10-yard gain. That's just the type of player he is. And this play from earlier in the season, I mean, I know it haunts a lot of the fans, but you just see the power that he has, breaking a tackle, getting to the edge. Seems like he's really wrapped up there at about the 5-yard line. Carries about 4 guys in the end zone with him for the 9-yard touchdown run. He is a workhorse. When you take away the fact that Allen Robinson might not be in the lineup, Justin Fields probably not going to be in the lineup, I would expect a very run-heavy day from their offense. And having Dave Montgomery back, he's their workhorse. He's the bell cow. He's the guy that gets that offense going. So Lions did a decent job against Pittsburgh, an okay job against Nick Chubb last week. I know late in the game he kind of wore him down a little bit and was able to finish off that game. But Dave Montgomery is going to be the guy for Chicago. Very similar runner. They've been doing a much better job last couple weeks of tackling, swarming to the ball carrier, not missing a lot of tackles than they did the first time they played this team. That's something that's a positive that they can definitely hang their hat on, because they're going to have to do it again this Thursday to have any sort of success on defense.
For the Detroit Lions, is going to start up front, so you're giving some love to that offensive line. Who is your X Factor?
Well, Thanksgiving is all about turkey, but you can't forget the beef, too. My guy right here, Taylor Decker, I mean, talk about a difference maker on the offensive line. Last 2 games, rushing attack, averaging almost 200 yards a game. Pretty impressive. I think DeAndre Swift was the first running back since, I think they said Barry Sanders in the 90s, to go back-to-back 100-yard games. And a lot of it is because of the big fella out here at left tackle. 2 weeks ago, obviously running the ball for 230 yards against Pittsburgh, which nobody does. Just a simple little single block here on the D end. Does a nice job at the very end to release so he doesn't get the holding call. Matt Nelson obviously also coming in there giving a little chip. But Taylor Decker has been a huge part of their rushing success the last couple weeks. I know they haven't thrown the ball a ton. When they have, the protection's been pretty good. But he's been a difference maker. And you got to talk about Penei Sewell on the other side, too. I mean, the last couple games going over to play a fresh new position in the middle of the season is not easy. They've got to be really happy with the way their offensive line as a whole, but specifically their tackles have been playing, because they've been a huge asset to this offense the last couple weeks. And he was matched up pretty much the whole game out here with Myles Garrett. I don't even know if Myles Garrett made the stat sheet last week, which is a testament to Taylor Decker. I mean, he gets his hands in a perfect spot. Look at his left hand right there, right on the chest plate. That is perfect. When you get your hands there as an offensive lineman, it's really tough to beat. Myles Garrett does a nice job of ripping that hand off, but look at the strength, straining the guy. I mean, that you talk about this kind of space, they should have a lot more success than what they've been having offensively. I know they've had bad weather last couple games, but this right here is almost picture perfect. He's been a huge part of that rushing attack and why the offense has been I know they haven't scored a lot of points, but rushing-wise, why they've been so productive. It's a big part having him back in that game.
Sure thing. All right, when you look at this Lions schedule, the Chicago game, it looks winnable to a lot of people. So I got to know, what are your thoughts? Who do you think's going to get this one?
Prediction time. Okay.
Yes.
I think they're ready for a win. I do. You take a look at the Bears. I think they've lost 5 in a row now. They're missing a lot of their key players, right? This is a division game. It's probably going to be very similar style to what we just saw the last couple weeks, where there might be 70 rushes in this game. But also I think that, we'll see what happens with Jared Goff, but the passing game, now that they're back in the dome, they're back on turf, no weather elements to deal with, I want to see the passing game get going a little bit, because the rushing game has really been the reason why they've been in the last couple weeks. They can add the passing attack to that as well. I mean, they just look like they're due to score 28, 30 points. They just look that way. So I hope they get a win.
Yeah.
I think they get a win. I hope they get a win. The guys in that locker room deserve it. It's been a long time since they celebrated a victory in that locker room, and especially for a guy like Dan Campbell. I know he's not going to tell you that, he doesn't want the win for himself. He wants it for the team, but I know the guys in that locker room want to do it for him as well. And I'll tell you what, going into a little mini bye week with a long weekend after the Thursday game, it's going to feel a whole lot better if they're able to get a win this week. It's going to be a challenge. Division games are always tough, but I think they're due. I do.
No better day to get a dub than on Thanksgiving Day.
It's been a while too.
Bears.
They haven't won since 2016, I believe. So they're due. Yeah, they're due for Thanksgiving.
Let's go.
Luck.
Turkey Day luck. Let's get it. All right. Bears coming to town for this Week 12 matchup. That was the X Factor presented by Xfinity.